So, I'd like to probably introduce a few of the persons that you'll be hearing today, and also very briefly walk you through the program before I hand over to Matthias and Misha. So, we have some very experienced and knowledgeable individuals from GIZ and various organizations who've come together to put together this project. And the project leader is Matthias Range. We can use, he's allowed us to change his German accent a little bit if you're struggling with it, so we can use Range, you know. And Matthias has 12 years expertise in strategic planning and implementation of various projects, climate and disaster risk management, insurance, private sector development, microfinance and insurance, as well as in political dialogue gained with the German International Cooperation, GIZ. Now today we're not going to spend much time on people's CVs, because it's going to be a very open and interactive session. A key person, apart from our project leader Matthias, is Dr. Sandra Schuster, and Sandra's in a bit of a transition, but she's worked really hard and diligently to really pull this all together. And Sandra, again, is a disaster and climate risk management expert with over 10 years professional work in the public and private sector in Asia, South Pacific, the Caribbean, Europe, and Australia. So again, we have another very knowledgeable individual, and I'm again not going to go into her bio in any great detail. And finally, again, I've been working on my German over the last 48 hours. We have Sunka Kraft, 90%, 80%, okay. And Mr. Kraft leads the Munich Climate Insurance Initiative's work on both feeding back insurance-related expertise into international policy-making processes, as well as continuing the implementation of innovative ideas on how to make climate risk insurance work for poor and vulnerable people at risk from climate change. The other individual I introduced is, to my left, Misha Clark. I think you've become very familiar with Misha. She is the new executive director of the Irish Renewable Energy Association and has quickly become one of our key advocates and one of the people who's really driving this organization full steam ahead. So, today we want to, as I said, we want to get a lot of information from you. We want your participation, we want your involvement, and our program is basically in two tracks mainly. The first session we're going to have Mr. Nicholas Granger, and Nicholas, you might have bounced across him at University of West Indies in St. Augustine. Nicholas is our presenter. He's going to come in online via Skype. Nicholas is a disaster management climate change adaptation specialist with approximately about 10 years of experience in disaster risk reduction and climate change adaptation initiatives in the Caribbean. So he's very much a Caribbean person who's very familiar with all the issues and issues that have been happening here in the region. He has a BSc in civil engineering from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine campus, and an MSc disaster management and sustainable development program focused from Northumbria University in the United Kingdom. Again, I'm not going to go into too much detail in terms of people's CVs and that sort of thing. So today's program essentially is twofold. Nicholas will give a presentation on the topic, and you will have a chance to speak with him, any queries, anything you're not clear on, and elaborate on that with him. But after lunch is really where the good stuff is going to be. That's where we want you to be involved and let us know all about what are the opportunities for you, what you see the challenges, what do you think are the next steps. We're here to design a roadmap, and we need your inputs into that roadmap in terms of taking the process forward in terms of insurance and the renewable energy sector together. So, let me, before I introduce Matthias and Misha, I think I'll just go around the table and just very, very briefly, so that we know exactly who are here, and just briefly tell us who you are, what organization you're from, and very importantly, what you expect from the event today. So, is that Sandra?
I'm Sandra Schuster. I'll be one of the presenters, and I set up this project in Barbados. So my expectation is to be a very interactive workshop where we want to hear your opinions from USD experts.
Felicia Cox, Barbados National Oil Company Limited. Just interested to see the options in terms of risk mitigation.
Joshua Hunt, solar water systems, PV installer. Just want to learn a little bit more to see what this has to offer ourselves.
Good morning, I'm Jamal Price from the Ministry of Industry. Same as the others, just a little bit more in terms of risk management with regards to climate change.
Hi, I'm Michaela Stoll, Ministry of Industry. As my colleagues have said, I'm just interested to hear, how we can incorporate this into our everyday development.
I'm Clyde Griffith, an employee of Bishop Clark.
I'm Miguel Humphrey at Green Storage. I represent Alcan Energy, and I'm just interested in finding out how this can definitely benefit the Caribbean on a large scale.
I am Wayne Richards. I work as Director of Projects for the Barbados Water Authority. Barbados Water Authority is embarking on a lot of PV investment, as it is right now. And there's also opportunity to benefit Barbados by contributing to what was started with the Alpha, so that we can have a sustainable supply.
Joanne Johnson, Department of Emergency Management. To have a better understanding of how to integrate renewable energy into disaster risk management, given that disasters pose a serious threat to sustainable development. Achieving sustainable development.
Gina Bell, Ministry of Environment. I'm here today to see how this fits into our national climate change program and how we can learn support.
Jerry Franklin, Managing Director of Smart Inc. and Vice President of Brea. I'm here to learn like everybody else.
Renee Evelyn, I work for Williams Solar Williams Industries. I'm a project development coordinator. So I'm very interested to see how we can learn more about risk mitigation and climate change and developing our projects.
Hi, Charlene Vidal of Trident Insurance. I'm basically here to learn about renewable energy and how we can incorporate that into our policies.
I'm Dave Skeet, engineer with Barbados Light and Power. I'm here to see what the world is doing with risk mitigation.
Deborah Downs, Massey United. I'm just here to get a better understanding and see what is available.
Horace Archer, Division of Energy. I'm just here to participate in anywhere we can, learn about what's going on.
Good morning, everyone. Carrie Hines, Department of Emergency Management. Here to take part in the stakeholder discussions this morning and to see how best we can improve disaster resilience in Barbados.
Hi, good morning. Liz Riley. I'm with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SEDEMA. And I guess from recent events and past events, we've seen the vulnerability of the energy sector, including the renewable energy sector. And from SEDEMA's perspective, we're here to learn a bit more on the renewable energy side and to see what kind of support we can provide from the regional level.
Good morning, Jason Cadegan from the Barbados Investment and Development Corporation. As the responsible agency for business development in Barbados, we have a very large business stock of about 1.5 million square feet. Obviously, a topic like this in terms of risk management and insurability of buildings and how it affects tenants is something that we're very interested in. So that's what I'm here.
Michael Gonzalez, San German Insurance. Like my colleagues from the insurance industry, to better understand our role within this whole expansion of renewable energy.
Good morning, Simon Zellner is my name, another tongue twister, or difficult to pronounce for the Belgian Simon or Simon. I'm with GIZ. I'm based here in Barbados, sit at the Caribbean Development Bank, and GIZ is implementing another project here in the region which is called RETA, Renewable Energy Efficiency Technical Assistance with CARICOM. Together, CARICOM is our main counterpart, so it's a regional program also including Barbados. And we recently launched another project, a new one, where climate resilience is also a very important topic we'll be working on there. And this is particularly the outcomes of these workshops are interesting for me and for the new project. So this is not a standalone initiative, what we are doing today here. There might be some possibilities for further collaboration or further procedures than within the new GIZ project here in the region as an outcome of the work.
Hello everyone, I'm Sönke. I got kindly introduced already. And I'm also a member of the project consortium. And my interest is really to get your perspectives on how to make the renewable energy sector more resilient in the face of climate change. It is a topic which I think is very much burning, but where I also don't see much guidance so far happening in the region or at a global scale.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Adrian Catchment. I'm with the University of the West Indies, SERMIS. I have three interests being here today. One is to do with the opportunities for the UE1 Masters in Renewable Energy. So are there some synergies there? Number two, relationship to promotion of green jobs. And number three, I'm interested personally in trying to understand the role of climate risk insurance in promoting development.
Yeah, good morning everybody. My name is Matthias Lange. I was also already introduced, and I think I have 5 minutes to elaborate a little bit on my expectation of that workshop in about.
Good, so thank you very much. So you have a good understanding now of who is in the room, where the interests are, and moving straight along, I'd like to introduce our Executive Director, Paris Renewable Energy Association, Misha Clark, and she will be followed by brief remarks from Matthias Range and Misha.
Good morning. You all made my job so much easier this morning. My task this morning is to welcome you all. So I'll just get the ball rolling because you did such an excellent job. Mr. Matthias Range, Head of Project for Advancing Climate Risk Insurance Plus. Ms. Sandra Kushker, Senior Advisor under the Advancing Climate Risk Insurance Plus. Mr. Junki Kref, Executive Director of the Munich Climate Change Insurance Initiative. Ms. Carrie Hines, Director of the Department of Emergency Management. Ms. Elizabeth Riley, Deputy Executive Director of the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency. Mr. Keith Roy Halliday, General Manager of the Barbados Water Authority. Ms. Gail Marshall, Representative of the General Insurance Association of Barbados. Mr. Steve Bell, I don't see him as yet, but welcome, Chief Executive Officer of the City of Brea Credit Union. My President, who is on the way, Mr. Adrian Rogers of the Barbados Renewable Energy Association. Other specially invited guests, representatives of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, and welcome to this morning's workshop on the integrated climate change risk management for the renewable energy sector in Barbados. Over the course of the last few weeks, the Caribbean region has had a front row seat to the devastation which wrecked our neighboring sister islands in Anguilla, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and St. Martin, which was caused by the abnormally intensified weather systems. If there was ever a doubt as to whether climate change is real or not, the recent weather systems known as Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Josie are proof that climate change is very much real, and its impact on small island developing states like that of Barbados can be catastrophic. While small island states like ours are not largely responsible for the effects of climate change, small states like ours are, however, highly vulnerable and susceptible to its impact. Scientists have proven that the increase in the Earth's temperature has meant an increase in water's temperatures in the depths of the oceans. The end result is more intensive and powerful weather systems like those experienced across the Caribbean region. Towards the end of the 20th century, it was increasingly recognized that disasters are not natural, even if the associated hazard is. And that is only by reducing and managing conditions of hazards, exposure, and vulnerability that we can prevent the losses, alleviate the impacts of disasters, since we cannot reduce the severity of natural hazards. The main opportunity for reducing risks lies in reducing vulnerability and exposure. Reducing these two components of risk requires identifying and reducing the underlying drivers of risk, which are particularly related to poor economic and urban development choices and practice and the degradation of the environment, climate change, which creates and worsens conditions of hazards, exposure, and vulnerability. Addressing these underlying risk drivers will reduce disaster risks, lessen the impacts of climate change, and consequently maintain the sustainability of development. We must therefore learn to manage risks and not manage disasters. Disaster risk management is therefore part of our sustainable development, and it must involve every part of the society. This includes government, non-governmental organizations such as Brea, and the private sector. This morning's workshop is therefore not only relevant, but very timely in helping Barbados advance discussions around the incorporation of disaster risk management and mitigation strategies which can be used to counter the impact of natural disasters. Disaster risk management involves activities related to prevention, mitigation, preparedness, but it is becoming increasingly recognized that not all risks can be mitigated using the aforementioned activities. Risk transfer, the process of formally or informally shifting the financial consequences of particular risks from one party to another, whereby a household, community, enterprise, or state authority will obtain resources from the other party after disaster occurs in the exchange for ongoing compensatory social or financial benefits provided by that other party. For example, insurance. It is an important area of focus in the national discussions surrounding disaster risk management. The renewable energy sector has been identified as a potential growth area for social and economic development within a drive towards 100% renewables, and it has an important role to play in reducing the country's overall dependence on fossil fuels and hence its level of CO2 emissions. If the renewable energy sector is to play a critical role in the economic repositioning of small island developing states like Barbados and spearhead mitigation strategies to reduce our country's level of carbon emissions and enhance efficiency towards more sustainable development practices, it is important that in the context of disaster risk management, we begin to focus our discussions on how disaster risk management strategies, like that of insurance, can begin to foster a greater level of resilience and sustainability. The government of Barbados has endorsed the policy objective of 100% renewable energy. The government and the private sector commitments to such goals can be seen in projects which include namely the recently awarded US $5 million contract for the retrofitting and installation of photovoltaic systems across government, buildings, and community centers. And I'm quite pleased to say that the award went to a Brea member, and he's actually here with us today, Joshua Hunt from Solar Rock Energy Systems. The Barbados Light and Power Companies and their 10 megawatt solar farm in Trent, St. Lucie, estimated to be a $40 million investment, and the soon to be realized natural retrofitting street lighting program. However, the intensity of recent weather systems poses a direct threat to such renewable energy systems and technologies, as well as the government's policy goals and the country's national sustainable development agenda. Disaster risk management strategies must therefore be included in any national development agenda which has renewables at the center. This morning's workshop is an important first step in commencing such discussions, as it provides an opportunity for there to be open dialogue and discussion between a wide cross-section of stakeholders. Towards first understanding the concept and importance of disaster risk management, and secondly, gathering your input on how such disaster risk management strategies can be used to foster a greater level of resilience across the renewable energy sector, while also identifying where gaps exist toward the eventual build-out of a comprehensive disaster risk management program for renewables. In closing, it would be remiss of me not to take this opportunity to formally commend and applaud the work of my colleagues and partners in this project, Mr. Matthias Range, the head of the project, Ms. Sandra Kushner, who we've been working with very closely since about March of this year, and the Executive Director, Janine Kreff, of the Munich Climate Change Insurance Program. I think we owe them a round of applause in terms of showing the commitment of the state to the sector. And in my discussions with Matthias yesterday, we had an excellent meeting. He's very committed in terms of the next steps. And Matthias, we look forward to working with you. So in closing, I challenge you, the participants in attendance today, to share openly in your discussions as it pertains to disaster risk management strategies, specifically those pertaining to insurance, the current challenges and the associated benefits, and how appropriate actions and our programs can be developed to strengthen our resilience against such efforts. I take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for agreeing to participate in this morning's session, as I look forward to the active and robust discussions on the way forward. Good morning and God bless.